Hello, Stacy.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm so
Good.
excited to hear a little bit about what your experience coaching with me has been. And I'd love for you to describe a little bit of your background in terms of what was happening for you before we started working together.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. And thanks for this opportunity to have a little conversation with you. Before I started working with you, I just remember I wasn't finding enough time to really reflect on my day-to-day life goals or hopes. Um, in terms of life goals, I had somewhat of a sense of what my goals were, but after like 16 weeks of the Dream Builders course with you, I think they've become a lot more pronounced. Um, when I first started, I knew I was about to transition. Um, as you know, I'm getting married
Mhm.
this late summer and have since moved from Missoula to small town central Montana. And I was nervous that as I relocated and settled into my new life here, that the location and the environment of my new home would prevent me from pursuing things I found fulfilling and meaningful in terms of career and life ambitions. Um, and I've always known I also want to have a family of my own, right? So
Mhm.
I wondered if I could have both. I think it was sort of there's that tension. And can I be a mother and also foster a successful career, right?
And
And
career is your community organizer,
yep,
right?
yep, I'm a community organizer for one more month with the Missoula Interfaith Collaborative. I've been working online, and then I'll be I'll be leaving there, but still hoping to work in conjunction with organizing on a statewide level going forward.
Mhm.
So I guess the program really taught me that I can have both, like family life and have this future ambition to continue doing what I love.
Mhm.
And um, yeah, my fiance and I are both older as well, and so I was letting like time and fear of growing older become a limitation for me.
Mhm.
Just all these things, and I
You know,
think
so when
yeah,
we first met, you've worked so hard in cultivating a very successful career, and you're moving into and transitioning into creating a life, a different life with the man you love and a family. And there was a lot of, well, you tell me what was a catalyst for working with me for you?
hmm. Well, I've done various bouts of therapy. I think reflection is so important, um, as is talking about like emotions and hopes and disappointments out loud. But I think with you, you struck me as someone who could be more direct with me than a therapist.
Mhm.
Someone who had some wisdom behind her, some life experiences, advice, and an ability to be, I think, vulnerable as well. And that's something that therapists have. There's certain boundaries, I think, that are different. And I appreciated that about you and the possibility of working with you. Um, you know, uh, Someone who could talk about their accomplishments and but be professional and kind of lean on their training that they've had to. So um, yeah, I right away knew that you were really good at what you did. And when we first met, um, that you had me, dig into my story right away and what my dreams were. And I appreciated that about you. Yeah.
Thank you. And what I love with you is you're such a heartfelt, loving, incredible woman. And your gift in community organizing really came forth. And that longing and discontent, was really a sticker in the beginning. I think most of us as women, we wrestle with that, right? Because we've worked so hard in our profession and we love cultivating love and having a family as well. So what were you hoping really to achieve when you began working with me, and how did you find the process of working in
Yeah.
the Dream Builder system?
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew I needed some direction, um, and kind of a plan. And so I've developed some sort of curriculum for my life, one I think that will help me achieve my goals once I've settled into my new life here in small town Montana. I've planned a curriculum of like books and articles to read, and you've helped me with that. Intention around conversations and relationships I want to build here, and even a way to fund what I want to do and the career I want to have. But the key, I think, to getting all of that set up was what the program taught me, and what you helped me with is unlocking my vision and defining what I really want for my life. Um, to the smallest detail, that's part of the process of dream builders. And so that was really good for me. I needed to hear and, also believe that anything is possible, and that my life is full of limitless possibilities. And I think initially I was hoping to achieve the sense of believing, but with your help in the program, I feel like I'm a believer. I believe in that now. And not so much in like, I think my end goals will always shift, but it's more about the journey and the steps I'm taking along my path. So the process, I needed something too that like time-wise was not all consuming. And so I appreciated that. It was 2 to 3 hours max a week, 40 minutes or so with you. And then, your life work that you gave me, the exercises and listening to the CDs, and then reflection and writing. And it was kind of all I needed to sort of help set the tone for my week and my day to day. So.
Yes, you're a dynamic, high achieving woman. And what I really love, the difference between interesting when we began, you had goals and objectives. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, most of us, high achieving women, that's where we begin. We begin with goals and objectives. But you said something I thought was really wonderful. And this really, I believe, is the gift of really recognizing that there's a power inside of us that's far greater than anything we've ever known, and then really trusting that process and tapping into it. You use the word shift, and there was
Mm-hmm.
a shift at a point in our coaching together that brought you into really more freedom, more joy,
Yeah.
more acceptance. And it seemed as though there was more of a flow. Um, so what changed for you at the end of the program, it sounds like, was you have what would you say the change was?
I think for me was this recognition that, life is limitless, really. Um, and I'm a pastor, and so I teach that myself, and I say it to others a lot in terms of like, freedom and the kind of life that God intends for us. But I needed to do my own believing myself, I think, in some of that. And um, I think some people think it's idealistic to talk about limitless possibility. But I don't know. This program, I think it just really brought me back to that sense of freedom that I, expound upon other people. You were really intentional about walking with me in my faith journey, my life journey, and your openness and encouragement to that. And that need for further development of this deep-seated part about me was just really helpful, and helping me break down barriers that I intentionally or unintentionally set for myself and my hopes and my dreams. So, and just an awareness of my environment and the influences on my life, whether that's people or concepts that hold us back or encourage us forward. Like, I really love that about this program.
Yeah.
And that's the shift. Yeah.
I absolutely love taking a front row seat. Your greatness and your success, it's a lot of fun, and there's so much power in having a coach in your front row, someone who really, there's a lot of power in love and support. and having someone who believes in you, even when sometimes we don't quite believe in ourselves. And, I thought that that was so powerful and still is. And you're that person in the front row for the people that you minister to every day. So it was such a blessing and an honor to be able to take a front row and really help you find and greatness. It's always been there. So what impacts were there in other areas of your life that maybe you didn't set out to achieve at the beginning of our
Hmm.
coaching together?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really, view you as a relationship, you know, helper or therapist, but and not to say that you are, but this program has really helped me communicate with my fiance a lot better about, my future and my hopes and dreams, and then our ability to work as a team. So just the way our conversations transferred into my conversations with him and my family too. I have a small business with my sister and our aspirations in that regard. So I think it's just so much transference into other aspects of my life that I found really helpful. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I absolutely observed that, and I watched your communication with, with the man you love and your family. It was just really wonderful to watch that wonderful communication, and I love that you shared aspects of this program with Lance, with the man that you're going to marry, and I think that was really transformational. Um, and I loved being part of that. So, what would you recommend to others thinking of joining my
Mm-hmm.
coaching program?
Yeah. Well, I just encourage other people to really invest in themselves in a way. That's what I consider this to have been for me, an investment in my future and just in my life. I don't think you can go wrong doing a program like this and having, a strong coach to walk beside you. Um, and, sometime in the future wanting to continue that work. It's just so important um, that we are processing our journey as we go along. And setting goals, but the goals not being the most important part. Uh, and that's what this program focuses on, is the steps you take and finding yourself and, in the midst of that, I guess. And so, yeah, um, I would recommend the materials. I think, your professionalism, Laura, and your expertise, in just your experiences, I feel, helped me keep going with the program. I didn't feel like it was, um, you know, you're just really intentional and genuine in your approach towards women and wanting them to, women to really see possibilities as endless for them in life. And I think the more we can shoulder up to other women like that, the better we're going to be going forward. So,
Oh, Stacy, I love
yeah.
that. My heart just cracked wide open, and it's so wonderful to watch this moment in your life because you're preparing to move into a greater, freer, more expansive success than you've ever seen before, making a bigger ripple in your communities and your community building and creating a wonderful life on your ranch in Montana. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
really excited to watch the future for both of you, and I'm excited to see your beautiful children that I know you're so looking forward to.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that with me.
Yeah, of course.